What's up, gamers? Metallic Rock here, and we're back with our Week 5 recap. Gonna go ahead and pop open the vault, opening it as Vengeance again last week. And, I don't know, nothing too crazy. Trash Master's Mantle and Mad King's Sporrigan, which is a Myth Belt. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Myth Belt. A decent eye level upgrade, kind of a boring vault, but I feel like I've had pretty good vaults this season, so I wasn't too disappointed. Didn't even get a warm-up key, got kidnapped by the guild and put into a 12 Cinder Brew as the first key of the week. And it was pretty interesting. This was the first 12 I've actually jumped into at all this week. And it was pretty smooth. We had a couple deaths, and in 12s with the extra death penalty, the 15-second death penalty, on top of if people have to run back, if they were in CDs when they died, they made it pretty tough. So we ended up overtiming this key by about 5 minutes or so. I didn't get any loot, but it was still good to get a feel of what it's like to be in a 12, and also to kind of have that. This is the first time I've gotten to play without a Zalatath affix. I didn't push keys last week at all, and it was really nice actually to have a standardized dungeon experience where I'm not worried about affixes all the time. That's actually going to go ahead and give me Keystone Hero Season 2. I hit 2,500 in this dungeon, picked up 27 score, which is pretty exciting. Later on in the week, I decided to full pug my 10 Darkflame Clef. Wanted to get it up to a 12 to do later on in the week. Figured it would be pretty easy even in a full pug. Unfortunately, I took an evoker that was fully AFK for like the first 3 to 5 minutes of the dungeon. On top of that, the group kind of just didn't understand some mechanics. They doused too many candles on the candle boss and got themselves killed. We had 4 stacks of the dot. Kind of struggled through the wax boss as well. And the darkness, the final boss. People were not running candles in whenever it was time during the AoE, so we were getting feared. Honestly, there's some tech I have that I'd like to try next time I do this dungeon of pulling the boss closer to one of the candles, and maybe I can do it if I can't rely on a pug to do it. But, yeah, I mean, we still 1+'d it, but it was a little bit, I mean, it was a pug, you know? It was a pug. What do you expect? That's how pugs go. And I took the 11 that I got from the Dark Flame and grabbed the DK, Frost DK homie from the guild to come and run that with me to get it up to a 12. Motherload is a really easy key. This went super smooth. As you can see here, like in this pull, man, I'm telling you, Frost DK might just be overtuned. Throughout this entire dungeon, Frost Decay is on top of the meters. You'll even see at the end with the overall Frost Decay on top. I don't know if I've done a key with a Frost Decay that they weren't at the top of the meter this whole season, so kind of a sleeper OP spec, I think. Maybe people need to take a closer look at that one. Other than that, we actually did pick up a little bit of score for doing this 11, and we got a hero belt, but unfortunately, or fortunately, we took a myth belt out of our vault this week, so the gear is of no consequence to us. On to the next key. After that, did a couple of full guild groups just to fill out vaults, round out everything for the week, push up people's keys. Started with a 10 Rookery, which we 2+'d easily, that I believe I got a little bit of score for, and then we jumped into an 11 Priory, which we timed pretty quickly, and that was actually my Priory portal, because I had failed a 10 previously, or failed an 11, I don't remember, that was a couple weeks ago. And then we did the same with an 11 Floodgate, which was my portal for Floodgate, and then finished it off with a 10 Cinder Brew, meaning that I was officially done with portals for the season, and it was time to start pushing into the 11s, the 12s, and trying to get resilient keystones. With my remaining time for the week, I started on some 12s. I attempted 2 12s this week, the first being a workshop. This is a 3 pre-mades, me, the shaman, and the evoker, and 2 pug DPS. It didn't quite go our way. A lot of things were successful. I actually found the dungeon pretty manageable and pretty timeable. I think as I get all of my 12s, and then maybe again as I get 13s, I'm not sure, I'll publish those as full video runs, maybe with some commentary over them. I don't know, it's not something I've like really done before, but I feel like it could be pretty interesting, and I know when I did my Warrior series in the past, people had asked for some full runs. But, yeah, I found that this run went pretty well. I was able to replicate the tech on the dog boss of keeping full uptime by hiding on the edge of a box pretty consistently. I think I was able to do it every single box myself. I did skip the junkyard dogs in the corner. That caused me to be 0.3 count away from being able to skip the 2 last trash packs. Just something I was unaware of. You're just going to have to pull those dogs. Maybe you pull them into the boss and figure it out. Not sure. Maybe you pull them into the other dog pack and just try to do them all at once. That's really kind of up to like however much your healer can deal with or the defensives you have. But yeah, fighting this last pack at the end is very slow. We fought both. We probably could have Warlock skipped. The run was kind of already dead, so I wasn't really worried about Warlock skipping at this point. But yeah, that's Workshop. Just need a little bit tighter execution, probably a little bit more damage. I think our unholy DK Pug was getting a little bit unlucky with proccing his Blood Beasts, but it's all good, you know. And also on me, I gotta make my macro. If my group watches this and they find out that I still am not hunting in a 12 on the final boss because I haven't made the macro, they will probably get the sun cannon and fire me directly into the sun. Okay, one more 12 this week. Let's see how it went. Alright, it was a 12 top. We picked up a pug hunter and specifically gave them the instructions that their job was to trank shot the bull. We were pulling all of the first pull into the boss with lust, sending everything, and we really needed to make sure that that bull stayed de-enraged, so their job was just a trank shot. If all they did was trank shot, mission complete. They did not trank shot. I could have switched over details here at the end of this pull or something, but the healer was in like cranking 5 million HPS to keep us alive through this. So from this moment, we kind of knew, like, okay, person was given a specific job, could not do the job. The run may be cursed, but let's see how it goes. We end up getting the first boss down, and then in our mini-boss section, we got the punch guy, and then the bleed person, and then the spinning blade person. And I'm actually going to be looking into tech into week 6. I've heard that you can skip all 3 of these just by walking past them, which sounds very good to me. We killed the second boss, and then we killed some ghosts, and then we killed a boss that was a ghost, and then we killed some stink, and then we killed a boss that was stink. Most of our deaths in this one actually came from the ghost section, just missing kicks, missing casts, letting like a shadow bolt volley go off, or necrotic bolt volley, whatever it is. Missing like a bone spear on a DPS, which causes you to be down a kick and also have less DPS, so the bone spears are going to get more casts off. You got to be super on point with kicks and stops and stuff in that section. Otherwise, I do think this one is also very timeable. You can see we have 14 deaths right here. We're a couple minutes over, but 12s is really about playing super cleanly as far as I can tell, because they're bringing back, in Season 1, when you did a 7 key, you got a 12-second death penalty for dying, or 14-second death penalty for dying. And in 12s, that's back this season. So it's really important to stay alive, because the time really starts to get chunked down when you end up with a few deaths. But I don't know. I also think this dungeon is probably pretty timeable easily next week, as long as, you know, if we pick up a pug, they're up to snuff, and clean up a couple of our mistakes with casts and stuff like that. Alright, that's going to be it for week 5. Got all my portals done this week. Took a look at a couple 12s. Got a couple 11s on the board as well. We're 2684, 663 eye level. Looking good, feeling good. Gonna have a nice full vault next week. Heroic raid, probably all 3 slots, not that interesting, but then we'll also have 3 myth items from dungeons, so hopefully in the next video you see me opening a nice big vault for week 6. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you enjoyed this channel, go ahead and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.